Oh boy, here we go again. We're gonna be tackling a very controversial topic. Do you think kids should be allowed to play video games? Here's a small secret that I'll be bold to share with you. I think parents should actually encourage kids to play video games. Today we'll talk about what these video games are and why you should actually be encouraging your kids to play video games just like I did in my youth. I promise that if you stick until the end, you're going to understand why you should be forcing these video games down your kids' throats instead of preventing them from playing them. Deal? Hey, my name is JP and I've been playing video games since before I could even speak English. And I distinctly remember being stuck on the title screen of a Crash Bandicoot game for PlayStation 1 because I didn't know what press start meant. I have a bachelor degree, a master's degree, and I'm currently 4 years into my PhD, and I still have to tell you, I've learned more and importanter lessons from video games than I did in all of my academic life. And today, you're going to learn exactly how. See, many people still believe today that playing video games can actually be harmful to a child's development, and that these should be restricted or avoided. However, I have to tell you, as an avid gamer and a keen observer, I'm going to be presenting a different perspective. Mainly, I'll talk about 3 core things most video games can actually achieve for children. Let's get right into it, and the first point I'm going to bring up is creativity. Games like Minecraft and Roblox and maybe even The Sims can actually enable your child to become a more creative person. Mainly because they'll be serving as an outlet for all that pent-up creativity that they're not allowed to use during their days. See, they're not just playing games here, they're actually creating stuff. They're creating worlds, they're creating scenarios, they're doing active, creative stuff. This is actually going to foster problem solving and critical thinking that you can't really purposefully do with school. It's really hard to force kids into these situations. And these are all going to be skills that they're going to carry forward in their lives. And while they're learning them, they're having fun. Secondly, most video games are actually super complex and require an intimate learning and understanding. I've played games like Factorio. I'm going to leave up a little bit of Factorio on the screen because it's not that known, so that you understand how complex this game actually is. Factorio has you crash land your spaceship on an alien planet, and all you have to do is create these systems so that you can eventually create your own rocket ship and go further. I cannot tell you the amount of hours I've spent creating these extremely complex systems that actually involve me doing math by hand. Games like Civilization, maybe you've heard of this one, involve resource planning and mapping and all these different things that kids aren't actively trying out in school. All of this strategic thinking goes into these video games, and isn't this what life is all about? Third, video games can actually promote social skills. A lot of video games are now online, and this will allow your kids to actually engage with other community members. Games like Fortnite, League of Legends, Among Us, they can now play these games with their friends and actually have an active participation in their social gatherings. As a young adult, I need to tell you that League of Legends is actually the main way with which I interact with my friends nowadays. See, we all have our different lives, but the fact that we can come home, open up Discord, open up League of Legends, and join a room where we're all talking and having fun together, it's done wonders for my social life. It's one of the best parts of my day. These online games are actually things that I recommend to even most adults. And most of these games will also teach them how to teamwork because they'll need to work together in order to complete an objective. Mostly, they'll teach kids about the importance of cooperation and joint strategic planning. How are these not extremely valuable lessons for your kids' futures? Moreover, video games can actually be an excellent tool for learning resilience. They're going to challenge them. They're going to frustrate them. They're going to make them even want to rage quit sometimes. This happens in video games. Isn't this how life also feels like sometimes? Video games can actually teach children how to cope with failure and how to persevere until they finally complete it. There's video games like Elden Ring that are so tough to beat. It requires multiple hours and multiple tries so that you're finally able to complete your objective. This type of resilience isn't something that they'll naturally want to engage in if it's school activities. Whereas in video games, when they're having fun, they're actually building this up for themselves as well. And they're not even noticing it. And a bonus point that I need to point out for the people that are still watching, I need to tell you, some of these video games teach you these really complex topics and you don't even notice it. I've been playing old school RuneScape for the majority of my life. I've started playing it when I was only 13. I am now 29 years old and I'm still playing RuneScape. My financial management capabilities are all due to the fact that I've been playing this game for the longest time. I've been managing my financial situation within RuneScape, a fictional money that I own, for over a decade now. And this has actually actively translated into my real-world financial skills, something that school doesn't teach you. Finally, the last thing I'm going to say is that many video games have these really cool narrative elements. And as I said, most of these narratives are actually around complex topics that they won't get to grasp until they're maybe adults. Games like The Last of Us, Life is Strange, or even Undertale. They can expose children to different perspectives and really have them embrace these real-world difficulties in a very, very safe environment. They're going to be learning about actual real-world issues without any of the actual issues. The very last thing that I have to say though, everything should be consumed in moderation. I'm not saying that your kids should be playing for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, but to actually let them play for 2 to 3 hours per day, if they have time to do so, they'll gain so much from it. Remember that as a parent, you should still monitor what types of games they're playing. I'm not actively advocating for every single game, but if you notice a game has potential to actually teach them real-world values, why not? So next time someone suggests that video games are just a waste of time for kids or something that numbs their brains out, I hope you feel free to share these points that I've made with you today. As always, remember to balance these kids' activities with sports, with studying, with reviewing, with executing projects. There should always be moderation. As I said, you need to actively moderate how many hours a day they're playing, but you shouldn't be preventing them from doing so. That's it for today's video, folks. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and also if you want to hear more of our perspectives on how you can actually teach real-world lessons to kids, you can maybe subscribe to our newsletter, which I'll leave in the description down below. If you're a gamer like me, I hope you still teach your kid about the importance of playing video games in moderation. Please let me know in the comments down below what games you're recommending other people play. Other parents, if you want to go down to the comment section, hopefully you'll have recommendations of really cool video games that your kids should play. I'm gonna leave mine as well because I have so much experience. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye guys, see ya.